Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeannie, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoda Ricci.
Hi, I'm Eric Chalk, and I will be guesting in as Ide Minato.
Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
After leading the Utaku and other unicorn shinobi on a mad dash through the sand road, you and your horse kind of lose control of the situation and disperse the unit, and you tear off down through a canyon as your horse is just in a mad dash, just completely out of your control. Right now you are going through a kind of yellow and orange sandstone canyon with a horse you hardly know that is not listening to you, and it is going just pell-mell underneath you there. So I think you need to try and find a way to rein this horse in.
I'll do my best to rein this horse in. I'm going to try to be like calming and steady in my attempt, and try and keep my head about it with an earth approach.
Okay, so are you thinking earth or earth, earth or water? I think would work there, but earth sounds most obvious to both of us. So let's
Yeah,
go
water
with
is if
an
I want to
earth
keep going.
approach. There you go. But it could be the soothing, calming thing as well. But I think Earth of reinforcing others' calm versus your own internal calm is good for this situation.
Mhm.
Um, so let's go with a. How about this? I'll give you a void point to do this blind.
Sure. Why not?
All right.
All right.
There you go. All right. So void point to do it blind. It'll be Earth survival.
Excellent. Okay, let's see how I do. I have an earth of 3, a survival of 1.
All right. So how did your Earth survival check go?
I got a success with Strife and an opportunity with Strife on my result. And I'd like to spend my opportunity to minimize the chances of breaking my neck if this doesn't succeed in calming my horse.
Got it. All right. So the TN for this was 4, so you have a shortfall of 2, which
Oh
is
no.
not great. But luckily, with that opportunity and whatnot, you don't catch your foot in the stirrup, and you're able to hit the ground as you're kind of bucked and thrown from the horse in a kind of wild turn that it makes at high speed. And instead of being caught up and dragged, you just kind of hit your shoulder and kind of tuck and roll and take 2 fatigue. But nothing is hurt, nothing is broken.
Okay. All right. Well, I will take 2 fatigue then, and we will proceed apace. Uh, except I don't think I can catch my horse.
No, you kind of get up, kind of sit up for a moment after making sure that you're all right, and watch the horse's tail flick as it tears off down the turn through the canyon and out of sight. You're not sure how far it's going to go before it decides to finally settle down without a rider, but at this point, you can't see more than a couple dozen meters in front of you or behind you.
Oh no. All right. Well, I can't go back. I can't see can't walk straight back into the battle zone. That doesn't get me anywhere. including getting a message to Rokugan. I'm going to look around a bit and see if I can see any landmarks I recognize or someplace where I can, figure out where I'm going or where to get there or a place to get together with the rest of my little squadron or something.
So, I mean, just looking around, just kind of taking in your environment, I think sounds like a water check to me. It's kind of a survey approach.
Okay.
Um, and then that's probably also a survival check, unless you have something else that you might be able to pitch to me. But yeah, I think navigation for landmarks or for taking your bearings or whatnot like that kind of falls under survival.
Probably. All right. I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Do you want a TN? Because I will give it to you since you're just kind of looking around for stuff that you've seen or can see at the moment. Yeah, let's go with just a TN of 1. You're just kind of surveying for landmarks and trying to get your bearings. So let's go with that.
Okay, great.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let's adjust that just by a little bit. You are in a foreign land in a totally in a place that you are not really experienced the desert. Not many of those in Rokugan. So let's up it by 1.
Okay.
With the stuff from the errata for increasing difficulty for unfamiliarity. Yeah, unless all arts are 1 are used, we're gonna go with a TN of 2 for this. I'm sorry.
So on that TN2 survival water check, I rolled 4 ring and 1 skill, and ended up getting 4 opportunities and exploding success. But fortunately, in the end, my roll was 2 success, 2 strife, and 3 opportunities. So I'm going to use 1 opportunity to reduce my fatigue by 1. And I'd like to use 2 more opportunities to notice something interesting in my physical environment that is not directly related to this dice roll.
All right, that sounds great. With the 1 op for the fatigue, you got thrown from the horse, and well, it didn't do much besides kind of wind you a bit. Standing around, just taking in your surroundings, it's able to gain some of that stamina back. No trouble there. For the 2 op expenditure of notice something in your environment that isn't finding your bearings and location, I will say that as you're looking up through the, like I said, the yellow and orange sandstone canyon walls and the layered strata that goes with it, you notice something that seems really out of place, and it is like the dark slate style tiles, Kuwara tiles of a roof for a Rokugani style building. And it kind of makes you blink and shake your head a couple of times. And next thing you know is your eyes are following the kind of traditional lay of a Rokugani style roof, the kind of sloped A-frame sides, and the the markings kind of remind you of what of a temple complex or building of some sort. It's really throwing you, especially to find it in a place so far from home in an alien environment such as the middle of the burning sands along the sand road.
All right, so it's like up on the sides of up on the top of the canyon or something? Or
Yeah,
in the
kind of not
canyon?
on the top of the canyon, but kind of midway up. There's a kind of a maybe a plateau or a cut in the canyon, and there's like some different levels and steps to the sides of it. It's not just one megalithic kind of stone slab that goes all the way up to the top. There's some cuts into it, and probably 3 or 4 different levels of terrain that you could probably see from where you're at down here that make up the sides of this. Um, I don't know what you think could have been a ravine or other such terrain feature if there had been more water in this area.
Oh, okay. And what else did I see on my successes?
So for your successes of kind of gaining your bearings and whatnot, is yes, you are able to figure out that not just behind you is where the unicorn would be at, but if you kind of raise out your arms and take a look to the sky and the position of the sun that is starting to get somewhat low into the sky. The sky's turning a pale shade of yellow or orange, indicating that evening is coming on soon. That yes, to your left and what would be behind you, but right now to your left would be west, heading towards where the battle is taking place. You see the clouds of dust that have been kicked up by probably the flight of you and the Utaku that were trying to see you safely uh, through the sand road, and where Ricci and Minato and the rest of the Unicorn are desperately fighting back the forces of the Emir's troops.
Okay.
Then the what you have now kind of seen as the temple would be towards your north, raised up about two, would you guess, two levels of the canyon walls.
Mhm.
And then where the horse is taken off would be towards your right, and that would be the east. And behind you is the south, and pretty much the one of the only places you're getting any amount of relief from the sun is right there where the shade is at. Um, and there the walls are a bit steeper, but not impossible to.
Okay. Well, I think the thing I should do is try and find my
Well,
horse.
there's a difference between what you should do and what you want to do. So if you do anything else but look towards checking out that strange Rokugani style structure in the canyon walls, I'm gonna have to hit your curiosity anxiety and hit you for three strife, but give you a void point as well. Or
Uh,
you can go and take a look and at least, satisfy some sense of your curiosity of what that building is doing out here in the middle of nowhere.
well, uh, yeah, that's the kicker with irrepressible curiosity, right? Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. So I could try chasing my horse across the desert, or joining this uh battle where I could
Right,
be
getting back with the forces that were
and
escorting
looking
you, but
really, really dumb. But
hmm
there's this strange building on the top of a cliff. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna go check it out.
all right, sounds good. So no void point, but also no additional strife, which is good as you've picked up four in his many minutes for strife in just a few moments here. So yeah, not too great. Um, but yeah, how are you going to try and get up to that temple? It's about, like I said, it's about two levels up on this kind of canyon, and I would say that it is probably range band 3 to get up to the first level, and then another check of range band 3 to climb up to the level of the temple after that. Um,
All
so
right.
that could be some climbing attempts, or you know uh, I'll leave it to you though as a player. What do you think you might try to do?
Well, I'm still pretty tired from battle and fighting and being thrown off a horse and stuff. I'm gonna try and see if I can find look around here along the bottom of the canyon and see if I can find how um they would have taken the stone and tile and wood and everything up, because somehow they had to build it up there. They had to get up to wherever it is somehow. So I'm gonna try and look for remnants of the Carter's Road, or the whatever track that they might have used to get goods up to the shrine. That
Oh,
should be the
okay.
easiest way.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah, much more thoughtful than just brute force it by trying to climb and scale a uh, sandstone edifice here. Okay. That sounds to me. What are we thinking? Are you relying on previous knowledge with earth, or is it more theorizing with fire?
I am thinking of more an earth approach here, but I'm thinking labor.
Yes, absolutely. I think labor is the correct skill
and
here. So let's
and
go with
this
an
is
earth labor,
okay, based on
and yeah, based on like I say, previous knowledge. Perhaps you helped supervise a work site, or maybe it was part of the cleanup efforts in the Crane lands after the tsunami that you have picked up. Some skill of laborers and what the process of moving heavy loads requires and whatnot. Um, so yeah, let's go with that, and let's go with a TN2 Earth labor check here.
all right, let's give that a shot. I got 4 successes, 2 opportunities, and 2 strife off of my roll. So apparently I was very much paying attention to that day in architecture class.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to go ahead and use the opportunities to just for this one, I think I'll just negate the strife. Who knows what I'll be
Ah,
needing it
that
for? So
works.
I'll just
Mm-hmm.
so we'll just call it 4 successes clean, and let's find out what that gives me.
So with 4 successes, you kind of study along the first ridge line, and you come along and you kind of follow where the horse had run off to. And unfortunately, while you are able to follow many of the horse's tracks, you have no sight of that horse. As you continue to walk deeper eastward through the canyon. But what you do see is a kind of a slope. And as you get around to one side of it and towards the where it meets the canyon floor where you're at, you see that there are sometimes it's a bit of a ramp, a slope, as it were, as I said, but also sometimes steps cut into it where it becomes steeper, and then there's a kind of cut out. Um, uh, Divot or some sort of gutter. Perhaps that's where loads were set and dragged up when this was uh, set up, or maybe they disposed of additional waste or rock or whatever for things. But it seems to be some sort of definitely man-made pathway up towards this temple. And with I think with 4 successes on a TN2 here, um, I will go ahead and say we can lower the difficulty of the next labor, survival, or fitness check made in the surrounding area by 1.
Great. All right. Well, let's check this out.
As you've definitely found an easier, more manageable way of getting up here than some other people might have taken. And so yeah, it's going to save you and kind of give you a little bit of a reserve of energy, or a bit of a burst of inspiration as your mind kind of goes and you kind of found what you thought you might find, and so you're reassured in your own confidence here and knowledge. Different bits like that can all come into play here with those bonus successes, and that's how we'll go ahead and use them there. So you make your way up along this pathway up the steps, and it kind of cuts back and forth along the sides of this level of the canyon, and it races you up the first level and continues up towards the second. And while it does get a little steeper, and it seems almost like it's mostly stairs at this point, it's not the first time that you've been to a Rokugani temple that kind of seem to almost fetishize and relish putting pilgrims through taking several contemplative steps to the grounds of a shrine or temple.
I said, and considering my skepticism, I've been grumpy about it most of the time.
Probably most of the time, exactly, especially over the last few years in particular. But yeah, it probably started at an early age of grumpy about it, and yeah, now that you've kind of been forced to do it as an adult and after the tragedy of your family, yeah, even more so. But eventually, you come across or I should say, not come across because you've discovered it, but I should say you reach the second level and you find yourself presented with the remnants of yeah, what you would kind of consider to be some sort of Rokugani mountain shrine just outside of Rokugan. You recognize places that you would see normally, the Sando, the path of worship, behind an old and worn out torii gate with its timbers kind of fallen to the point that it is barely a gate at all at this point. It's kind of two standing posts with the additional crossbars kind of fallen down beside them. But there is still a path of worship past that. Uh, you see both a Hayden and a Honden, the different halls of a shrine. The what you've kind of see as the supplementary building or auxiliary building, the Hayden, the oratory hall is off to the side, is the one that you saw from down below. But what you're presented with now is kind of back up against the further level and layers of the canyon is a sanctuary, a honden that has this massive boulder held up above it with a what kind of almost seems a comically small bit of shimawara rope tied around it, kind of rope that you would tie around a particularly sacred boulder or tree or some other natural feature. But it seems to just be perched above the Honda, like it's gonna fall on it at any moment. But it is somehow suspended up there. It almost looks for all the world that it is held there by that single rope, which would be impossible, showing the size of this boulder.
So I've come up a long way up the cliff at this point. I've got bit of a ways to go, but I've come up a long way up the side of the canyon.
Oh yes, most definitely. You're about halfway up. You would say that you're at kind of range band 4 to the canyon floor. Kind
Okay.
of easy bow shot, but not the extreme range of a bow. Yeah.
Okay. And just looking around, as I get higher, is there any chance that I'd be able to see what's going on in the battlefield if I go up above this shrine, like go to like the top of the boulder or something?
Yeah, there's not a lot of additional like cutout pathways that you can see right here.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't seem to go any higher than this particular spot. Seems that they took this kind of flat, secluded kind of chunk of a flat terrain up here in the canyon side to build the shrine, and didn't go any higher, at least not at initial blush. But yeah, if you probably climbed up on top of the boulder, you might be able to be as high up as uh, the highest point of the canyon sides. You might be able to get a sight on what is happening and transpiring out on the battlefield, depending on how far out it is.
Okay, well, that's definitely motivating, even if I'm tired.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Well, I don't need to be rude, but I'm a little perfunctory, and I'm going to quick bow, enter the monastery grounds, and
Sure. And as soon as you pass the remains of the Torii Gate, you are suddenly hit with a rush of emotions and thoughts and memories of a kind of dreamlike state where you had seen something like this before, a dream that you had not long ago. You have this just overwhelming sense of deja vu that you have been in this place before, which is an impossibility. But
hmm,
it is coming back to you that perhaps you had a vision uh, of this site, and luckily you have perfect recall through one of your advantages. I believe that's Fukuroka Jin's blessing.
Oh, actually, that's I've got perfect memory, so
Perfect memory is
straight
a
up.
separate one. Fair enough. There we go. So you just have straight perfect memory. So yeah, you're able
Precise
to
memory, actually.
precise. There we go. Got to get the right names for these things here. There we go. Precise
Mhm.
memory. And so yeah, you are remembering the dream that you had, where you have been on these grounds before in a dream, or perhaps a visitation to this vision of this place by some supernatural means.
So, do I remember, like, when I had this vision?
Absolutely. So, with your precise memory, it is kind of coming back to you, flooding your mind of when you were poisoned by the bronze viper, and that you were in the middle of a severe fever. And this dream came to you of coming upon this temple, but that was shrouded in some darkness, and that you were sensing malevolent spirits kind of held back against entering the grounds of this shrine, but looking on you with hollow, dead eyes, with faces that look like skeletons or the dead, or at least some sort of manifestation thereof. Gaunt whites that uh, were uh, speaking a foreign tongue that took a moment, that for whatever reason your fevered brain was able to comprehend in that moment, speaking to you that uh, when you die they are waiting for you, that for the the sins and treachery and disloyalty of others, uh, that they are going to take what is theirs, and that your soul will be theirs if you were to die uh, outside of uh, your world.
Great. Okay. But, this place was safe from them in that dream, sort of, so I guess I'll go on to the Honden because I wanna see the battlefield anyway,
Hmm.
so I guess I'll go on, but I'm getting more nervous. I was nervous anyway.
So you make your way up there. You find the kind of sacred well where one would purify and wash themselves, but unfortunately, the well has not been taken care of and has been filled in with dust and sand over the years, and is just run dry. And much like the rest of the temple, things have just been weathered and sandblasted. The wood is um, not necessarily rotten, but is just become weak and brittle with age, sun, and sand. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's not in terrific condition. Everything is just dried out and desiccated, almost like the spirits in your vision. But you make your way
Mhm.
up to the Honden, to the sanctuary, and you are able to definitely open those doors. Whatever might have held them back, or closed them up or sealed them over the years, has uh, just wasted away, and you're almost afraid to take the door off when you open it. But you make your way into a dusty hall, where not a lot of light is coming through, but of course these are temples made to uh, what do you call it? Highlight certain aspects of their collection, and what they treasure. And being in the sanctuary as you are here, there is still light kind of coming through and highlighting what would remind you of when you met the golden living Saint Kinro in just outside the lands of the Suzume. Um,
Oh, right.
but this time it is just a monk in incredibly weathered robes now that have just been faded out by sun and sand to almost match the canyon walls, and it has just been threadbare to the point that you can kind of see through it, and there's just the form of an emaciated man holding uh, a staff, a walking staff of wood, in both hands, as if either offering it or perhaps just holding it up in reverence. But yeah, probably the last remaining monk of this particular shrine has well died out here years and years ago, and his desiccated remains are all that's left.
Mm. Well, I don't want to be rude, and the last of these guys I met was actually had some life in him, despite. Anyway, I will do my best to give some quick ablations, appropriate to a quick uh, you know bow and clap reverence to the shrine, um, to be respectful. So,
All right. I mean, you're just passing doing passing respects. I don't necessarily think that requires anything. It's not like you're trying to necessarily do a thing. So yeah, no check or anything involved there. So no worries
okay.
with all that. But
And
yeah, you come up and you clap and bow, and while it is a bit perfunctory in your mind, it's at least being respectful of this situation and of uh, a, uh, a a someone who was devout enough to stay here and you know waste away until they had nothing left but their remains mummified by the dry environment. All right,
yeah,
so
for sure. And
yeah,
then
as
I
you
want
kind of
to, yeah, and then after that, I want to like search through this building to see if I can find a way through it to get to the other side, to get to the top of that boulder.
yeah, you just kind of go past uh, the mummified monk, and you find out that there is kind of a back door and a uh, ladder on a after a couple of steps that leads kind of up to a rock outcropping that, as you can kind of see as you get up there, kind of holds what the boulder, the rock to uh, well the rest of the cliff. There is kind of um, a small thin gap of stone that is the only thing really holding it back. But it seems to be strong enough that nothing over these many years has threatened to let it fall yet. And you see that yes, the rope does indeed come all the way around to the back here and uh, is tied up. This is definitely someplace you're sure that the shrine keepers and the priests and the monks would come and do maintenance on the Shimawara, and who knows, possibly they might hold um, celebrations, venerations, or rituals from the top of the boulder. Because yeah, it's not overly difficult for you to kind of scramble up and climb up the rest of it. Um, or I would normally say it would be no difficulty for you, but you've also been dealing with uh, some poor health. So, how about make me a TN1 fitness test to get up this boulder? But let's kind of negotiate the ring. What how do you think you might try to scale the rest of the way up? You're kind of halfway up the side of the boulder from where you're at. You could probably do the rest, but I'm curious how you might go about it.
Um, I think I would try to be very careful about moving up the boulder because I don't want anything to fall, and I just want to get up to where I can get the best view of the battlefield.
All
So
right, yeah,
I'm
sounds
just
like
like,
Earth
yeah,
trying to be
or
careful and
just
avoid danger. Mhm.
or air because I'm just trying to, tread lightly.
Tread lightly, or you being precise, like you said, of where you put your feet and your hands as you're bouldering up, could also be used here as well. Um, so I would say Earth gives you the advantage of minimizing some falls and dangers that way with opportunities, but I will allow either or at a TN2. So Earth, Air, TN2 um, fitness test,
I'm
which
gonna
becomes
go
TN1 because of the reduction from earlier.
to try and do it in air. Like I said, because I like don't want to disturb too much around here. Um, Tread lightly and hopefully not knock things up too much. All
There you
right.
go.
And not necessarily draw a huge amount of attention to me if there's like scouts or something.
That is also a good point. You've already been jumped once by bandits during the day.
Yeah, I don't need to be gymped. So that's TN1 because of the roll fitness, and I've got fitness
Mhm.
of 2 and air of 4. So let's give that a shot.
You should probably be all right.
Yes, I am.
But you have a weak constitution, and so I'm going to have you re-roll 2 of the successes shown on this roll.
Okay. Well, with the reroll, due to my poor constitution, I'm huffing and puffing and coughing and so on, but I do manage to make my 2 successes, 1 with strife and 3 opportunities. So what I'd like to do is negate the strife with one of my opportunities, and if it's possible, I'd like to use the 2 other opportunities on the use which you can use during a martial check. Well, during a movement action check, which this sort of is, it's like you can move up to 1 range band of any distance you move per opportunity spent this way. So I'll spend 2, maybe along a vertical surface. So since I'm scaling this cliff, I'm hoping to like get even higher.
Yeah, so the initial check was to move from one place to another, to get on top of the boulder to kind of see around. Yeah, this is most definitely a movement check, and you're going to move 2 additional range bands with it. So let's go ahead and kind of describe it this way. You make your way up to the top of the ladder, and then you start to kind of climb up the boulder and the kind of the little bit of stone of the boulder or the rock face that it connects it, or I should say that connects it to the rock face. And you get the idea that, you know what, with a little bit of extra push and effort and oomph, you could get up above the boulder and kind of sit on a small ledge on the canyon side. And so, yeah, you kind of lift yourself up, scramble a bit up the boulder, and then kick off of it up to a small ledge, and from there, you kind of seat yourself, take a few moments to cough and catch your breath, and stand, and you can see for quite a ways, almost all the way back out to the uh, what would be considered more of the Kamarist Empire's territory. And that's when your heart sinks. I mean, your eyes wanted to catch sight of the battlefield initially, and they were drawn instead further back towards the west. And the growing line of dots of other horsemen and footmen and soldiers dotting along the crest there, that the initial confrontation with the 2 cohorts that you found earlier were probably just the scouts and outriders of the emir's forces, and that the bulk of his army is staging on the edge of the sand road back where this all began this morning.
Okay, so I can see all the way back to where to where we started out this whole thing. Do I see
Absolutely. So, yeah,
do I see Ricci's People like are the caravan?
Yes, your eyes come back down to where your forces are at, and you see the Utaku have recoalesced the unit that was escorting you earlier, and they've set up a perimeter kind of at the mouth of the canyon at the rock face there, and that the caravan is moving forward towards them with Minato and Ricci in a kind of celebratory triumph as they have routed the Emir's forces, and they have started to wheel and turn and run back uh, to kind of the other back towards the west, and that even the bandits that jumped you earlier have made an ordered retreat, as it were. They're not no one's scattered, no one's routed, but everyone is making kind of ordered withdrawals and are no longer interested in uh, fighting and taking part in this losing skirmish that they were involved with all of you here. And but everyone down below seems to be oblivious to what is possibly coming. They seem to be under the belief that they have won the day and that they have fought off the Emir's forces. When you look up, and they've probably maybe only fought off 2/5 of the forces the Emir brought with him, and that he has an even larger force on the horizon, and that soon these forces will recollect themselves and rally under the command of the defender of the faith. And it's, if the fight was this rough to begin with, you don't know what it'll be like when their forces are now outnumbering yours considerably.
Oh no. All right. So I am assuming that they're like out of earshot down there below me.
Yeah,
Um,
no, between the wins and their celebration and the distance, I don't think that one person's yelling, especially with bad lungs, is going to uh, make it down to them.
okay.
At least
Um,
not without at least not without immense effort or some sort of
mhm.
tool.
Okay. So is the caravan going to enter the canyon that I was in, or is it has it already entered the canyon?
No, it's just coming up to the Otaku unit, which is out just outside the mouth of the canyon. So it'll be there soon, but it's
Okay.
not there just yet. It's rolling along as it keeps moving. They'll be within the canyon shortly.
Okay. By the time I get back down and around, well, even if I did get back down and around and warn them, I don't think that we could do another fight like that. Um,
If you were to try and scramble down, you're thinking it would be about another hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours before you could try to run down there the whole way and get back to them. And that's considering that's hoping that you don't wind yourself or trip and fall or
I
something
don't even have
else
a horse.
unforeseen were to happen. You don't even have a horse, exactly. You'd be having to hoof it the whole way. Um,
Um,
so yeah,
all right. Um, if they were to enter the canyon, because it looks like they're headed that way, following where you know I went first. Um, would I'd like to I'd like to science this. Is there any way that I could block off the canyon so that the Emir's forces couldn't couldn't follow? Um, like
block it off. You
how
could.
much does it go around?
Yeah, let's have you try to take assessment of this situation. Let's. So this sounds like you are theorizing. So this is going to be a fire check, and hmm, let's go with a TN2. Yeah, TN2 fire. Um, Oh goodness, what would this be? Culture? Not necessarily culture, although culture covers quite a bit.
How about
Um,
labor?
Culture or labor? Yeah, I'd say culture or labor.
Okay. Well, I will. Oh, okay, culture. I'll try culture. They need a good. They need a better science skill. But barring that, culture.
Yeah, they do. I mean, culture is history and some other things, and it's like it makes sense if you think of if you could consider culture kind of an academics skill, then it can work a little bit in that regard. So yeah,
All right.
plus it's a scholar skill, so it works for science.
All right.
Let's go with that.
I would like to potentially spend a void. See if I can.
Oh, look, I mean, yeah, spending a void point is up to you. So yeah, feel free to
TN2.
spend that void point. TN2 is all you're looking for.
All right. If it's only TN2, I won't.
For bonus, I do give bonus stuff for exceeding TNs by at least 2 or more. If you wanted to still spend it, you could for something, but it's not guaranteed, as it were, because that's the risk.
Let's check it out. Let's see if I can figure out a good way to do it.
There you go.
All right, 2 successes, 2 strife, 2 opportunities, and I'd like to use the opportunities to help me figure out some insight how to make this actually happen.
Yeah, so usually one spends their opportunities before the check, but there's also some precedents for spend it before the check, but then get your outcome fulfilled afterwards. So yes, you will get flashes of insight once you know whether the check has succeeded or not and what you're going to do. So the check is a success. So I will say this. Well, the best way to block a canyon from your height and from what you have available would be to start some sort of landslide. Sandstone is brittle and breaks off easily enough, and you should be able to get it to crunch and break apart and create enough rubble and debris that it would be a real pain in the ass to get past it or around it for the Emir's forces if you were to have it block off the mouth of the canyon. Okay, so sure, rock slide, terrific. But how does one generate a rock slide? That's what your flashes of insight are for. So let's go with, well, what's obviously right in front of you. You have a giant boulder, and a giant boulder that looks precarious. Okay, we could use this. It's a good way to get it started because you're in a space normally that is kind of devoid of most debris, or at least boulders and other rocks to use in a rock slide, because this was cleared out by humans to make a temple out of. But they did decide to use this incredibly cool rock edifice to their advantage and be something striking for the temple. But you can use it yourself. So you got the boulder, but now you need to figure out how do you break it off. Yes, sure, you could chisel through it. You could try to break or separate it here, but you need to be able to do it in a now kind of situation.
All right.
So yeah, so this becomes a situation where you're going to need to be able to break the rock quickly. So you're thinking that you've seen some aspects of people using fire to break stones. Sometimes there's moisture inside rock. Not a lot of moisture up here, but if you could find some way to maybe wet the rock and then light a fire and get that to work, that might be able to crack it and get it started and get that boulder to break off the rock face and continue down into the canyon below and block it off.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that. And besides, if they see the smoke down in the caravan, maybe they'll be able to.
It'll set up a signal as well. It'll serve dual purpose. Absolutely. There you go.
All right. And I do have the materials around. So the first thing I'm going to do is, all right. The only problem with this whole thing is I'm going to end up crushing this temple.
Yes, more than likely, you are going to probably crush this temple. And you start kind of laughing a little bit at that, and you're not sure if it's from the coughing and the wheezing just a few moments ago when you made your way up onto the boulder in this rock face, but there seems to almost be the sound of distant laughter kind of ringing in your ears as you're kind of coming up with this idea and realizing that you're about to crush a holy temple and the remains of a holy man down below, and everything else, that you found this incredible find, and now you're going to have to destroy it to save everyone.
See if it see if it works. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah, uh, I apologize sort of generally to whoever is listening, but I'm not exactly the most reverent person, and start taking the chamois rope, and that should be good dry tinder, and starting a fire
absolutely.
to
Old hemp
start.
rope that's ancient and dried out beyond belief. Oh yeah, no, you untie that and it kind of slumps down and falls down over the roof of the temple below, and yeah, you're able to kind of start gathering that up and winding it all around your arms and back and whatnot, and yeah, make your way down to back inside the Honden, and yeah.
Yes,
So
gathering
you
up
got some
wood to
rope.
try it.
That's a good tender and things. A way to start off. A way to start a fire. Now you need to
Yeah.
find a way to sustain and build a high heat fire.
All right. Well, there's a lot of rotted wood here, so that should be, you know,
Yeah, I mean
any
everything
of that.
from the Tory Gate timbers, crossbars to the doors to pretty much all the timbers that make up these temples. Yeah, you can make use of those to get your to build your fire and fuel your fire.
All right, so I'm gonna start off by trying to take off the rope
Mhm.
that unloosed it, but that didn't shove the boulder. That would have been convenient.
Right, yeah,
I'm
but no,
gonna shove
it just looks like it's holding it up, unfortunately.
and shove the rope and the tinder, the like any pieces of wood, like, from the railings and the doors of the
Mhm.
shrine that is nearby. I'm gonna shove it down into the crack between the rock and the cliff face there to
Okay.
see if it, to and what I'm going to be trying to do is set it on fire, and then as the air heats, it should expand, and that should exert an outward pressure on the rock that will hopefully, move it. It's a good start.
It should. It's a good start, and again, like you said, most of the time that you've seen people break rocks with fire, they usually like to soak them or get them wet or take them from, like, a river, um, but, yeah, you're having to make do with what you have.
Yeah, so I'll start doing that.
Alright. Let's go ahead and do a labor check here. And what do we want to think that you're doing here for labor? I'm not sure if this counts as the sacrifice labor kind of check, which is would be normally void, or if this is like a repurposing kind of check. How do I want to say this one? S-
Well, I'm making fire anyway, and it's being creative trying to find pieces of things to burn. So I'm a fine if you want to just make it another fire check. That seems appropriate to me.
yeah, let's see here. I think where we are at to start with is I want you to make a exchange, a water labor check to get to acquire items and tools. So
Okay.
let's do that. Um, and let's let's call that a TN1 water labor check. Um, the more successes determines how well your gathering goes. So let's say it's TN1, but for every two bonus successes on this water labor check, you reduce the difficulty of breaking the boulder free from the rock face by one.
Okay. Um, I'm going to call on my memory of working with Sueno on all the different projects. In particular, the one I'm remembering is when we were working together to try and put out the fire.
At the in the yes in the Sparrow Village, yeah, when you were attacked all those uh, all those days ago, yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm making a fire, but I'm remembering that time with Sueno with everybody, and kind of calling on our bond over
Oh, there you
our
go.
shared
Perfect.
labor
Hmm.
to work together on, or at least work with the
And
memory of that, because
that's the bond effect lets you what is it, get a like a assistance
an
with somebody? Yeah.
an assist on the
Hmm.
skill you share.
Very nice.
So we definitely share that skill,
Awesome.
and it seems
Absolutely. I like
appropriate.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, no, I think this is a great way to use the bond system right there. Yeah. Um,
because I have bond
and that
level
brings us
2 with
back to
her.
season one. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to call on my bonds with Sweno, because this feels an awful lot like the time we did all that heavy work putting out the fires in Sparrowlands. And so
And it makes you
but
feel better just to think about working her with her side by side, even though you're alone here and she's down below. Hopefully she survived the battle.
yeah, and we're going to try and save her no matter what this takes. So
So how did you do on this water labor check?
all right, on the water labor check to try and use the fire to trigger this boulder. I actually got 9 successes, 1 opportunity, and 5 strife, which is really good. I guess I'm feeling very inspired by Sueno. Um, I spend my opportunity to remove 2 of those strife.
Or two strife that you already have, and then you'll still
Two
gain the
strife.
normal. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, two strife that I already had.
So, I mean, normally for the last couple of checks, I mean, there's stuff like fallen from the horse, and that's a little bit of panic, and the isolation and loneliness kind of makes sense for some of the twos and twos of strife that you picked up beforehand. But this is 5 strife. I want to know a little bit more precisely in this moment what this strife is manifesting in you at this moment. Is it negative? Is it positive? Um, like, what is it? I mean, because like you say, you're feeling rather inspired at the moment because of your bond with Sueno. You're able to drop 2 strife, which you normally got already. But what do you think this 5 is? Is this 5 um, triumphant, giddy, happy, in love? Is it still more panic and fear, anxiety? What are you thinking?
Basically, I am very, very worried about Sueno at this point, because I'm safe here.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I mean, they can't see me. I'm safe, but I'm really worried about her, and just thinking about her being down there in danger. Um, yes, it's inspiring in that I remember the times we've been in danger together, but unlike those times, she's not with me. She's always with me. And this, not only is she in danger, but she's not with me where I can protect her, like from right there nearby. And
I like it.
that makes it even more panicky, I guess, more stressful.
Absolutely. But while it is stressful, it is driving you clearly to the heights of activity here. You are able to gather gather wood, gather kindling, and pretty much by breaking up railings here and there, finding any bit of rope that you could find around. You even get to the well and have just a crazy idea to, why not? Let's climb down the rope, get down there, and you start working at digging through some of the sand, and it doesn't take long. You dig for about a foot down, and you're able to start to get some trickle of water coming up through this old well, and you're able to start to fill a couple of bucket loads with it. And yeah, I mean, you're able to get a total of 9 successes, which at the end of the day is going to lower the difficulty of removing the boulder from the rock face by 4. It's a -4 TN. That is incredible. Pretty much it gives you every tool and item that you needed to complete the task. So yeah, at this point, it's now time to prep the rock and the fire and get things started.
Okay.
I'm Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/courtgames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Riichi. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter, @ChurcherGames, or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at courtgamespod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter @L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeannie, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the Court Games RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
Hi there, I'm Eric Schock, and I will be guesting as Ide Minato.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugana Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com